97.5 Hip Hop Daily. You rocking with your boy Moolah Moe. Let's get it. Let's go. Shout out to all the viewers. Shout out to all the supporters that's been supporting me over the years. 2023. I want to say this is my first live since 2023. You know, it's a new year. It's the Jordan year. And we just going to take it up a notch. We got a lot of special guests that's in the building tonight. We got a very, very special guest. I haven't spoken to him in quite a while. Like, from when we first tapped in, he's somebody that's very, very special. He does a lot of work. Let me get him in the building. Where is he at? Hold on 1 second. There we go. I'm gonna let him. He don't even need an introduction, but I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Hopefully Instagram not tweaking. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
What's good, King? How are you?
Man, I can't call it. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. You?
Man, I'm feeling good. Instagram was like hating low key. They was trying to like stop the live, so I had to restart the phone. I was like, man, come on. That's why we got to do the in person on 75th and Broadway on TV, because I actually control that platform and Instagram doesn't control it. But it's a new year. How you feeling?
Good, man. First, I want to congratulate you on the Lax Network, bro.
Appreciate
I saw
that.
during COVID you was putting in that work, and to have your own network. Like I go on my TV and when I type it in, I see it showing up as an option for streaming, and I'm like, damn, I know that guy.
Right.
That's pretty cool. Congratulations on that.
Man, I appreciate that. So what's been up with you? It's 2023.
When did we speak last? 2021?
We spoke 2021. That was the last time that we tapped in with each other.
Jesus, damn. Yeah. Well, I mean, since then, has been growing the company. Been doing a lot more production, slowly coming off of the road, touring with artists and focusing on more like music production, commercials, documentaries. That's kind of that direction I want to go into. And I mean, it's all about growing too, right? So my where I started was nightclubs and festivals, so try to just keep going up a notch every year. And so far it's been amazing. Like, when something is truly for you, it's for you, right?
Right.
Yeah. So far it's been great, bro.
So did you see yourself in this position that you're in right now? You work with some pretty amazing artists, Sean Paul, legend. You got Cardi B, and then you still tapped in with these people. You're a part of the team. Like, did you see yourself ever working with these people and growing such an amazing relationship with them?
Nah, not at all. Like I even say it. I was even telling one of my friends the other day. I said, if I stop doing what I'm doing today, I'm so content with what I've accomplished in the short span of time of my career. And everything that these individuals who I've worked with has given to me, I'm forever grateful to them. And, sometimes I'm like, I wonder if they feel obligated to work with me because of, my loyalty with them and so forth. And I have conversations with them. I'm like, by all means, like, because, as content creators or creators in general, we talk ourselves a lot more than anyone else. We'll always try to overthink stuff and try to figure out, like, do they like my stuff, or does the public like my stuff? And at the end of the day, when you have individuals and a team that is all about excelling and putting out dope shit, regardless of your relationship with them or not, they'll let you know. So it's been good to know that I've been delivering and they've been content with the work I've been giving them. And I've honestly never thought I would have been working with these individuals, and more so that they've been putting me onto others. We know a lot of selfish people in this industry.
Yeah, a lot of selfish people. Yeah. It's a lot. Tell me about it.
They want to keep you to yourself, they don't want to share with no one.
Right.
So the fact that I've had those individuals who've linked me constantly with others has just been so amazing.
How did you how did you become so close with like Cardi? How did that relationship start?
Well, mainly with her team. So like I've built a relationship, and funny enough, a lot of this came through Sean Paul in general, indirectly, because I've worked with a lot of people on his team, and a lady by the name of Tanisha Scott, who is an amazing individual in the industry. She's the creative director for Lizzo. For her, she does the majority of Drake music videos, but she's also the creative director for Cardi B. And we're doing a music video shoot in 2018 for Ching Ching in New York. And she came on set, and through our conversation that we have, that we all shared a group together, she kind of saw the work that I was putting out for other clients, and she was like, yo, I need you to come on board and kind of do the same for her. And I was like, oh, snap. All right, cool. And that's pretty much how that came about. And then from there, just building organic relationships with anyone, you know? These individuals have been in the industry so long that they spot bullshit from a distance. So you try to be yourself as much as you can. And what I've learned through others is like, you know, deliver what you say you're going to deliver, you know, and more so even over deliver what they ask for. And through that, is like you'll constantly have work and you'll have respect for from them, and you'll keep going. And so far it's been really good, man. You know, I've been just learning as I go along.
What is one of the biggest life lessons that you learned, you know, on your journey to success?
Like it's as cliche as it may sound, is like you really got to stay true to yourself. And at some point in time, you realize nothing makes you happy other than doing what you really love doing, you know? So I think that's why I excel so much in what I'm currently doing, is because like I'll shoot a music video, I'll shoot content, and I want to come home immediately and edit. Like it doesn't even matter if the party is going on, it doesn't even matter if what's taking place. I just want to come home and edit. Like even days when I'm home, I'll leave the house and I'll go downtown with my cell phone, and I'll just shoot content just to come home and edit and just keep myself busy. So it's something that I just realized, like I really just love doing this, you know? On my free time, I go on my computer, I edit. I'll actually, matter of fact, the other day, I shot a video in 2017, and I was like, maybe if I edit that video now, it'll probably look so much different. I just started editing the video just to see how my skills developed from back then. So that's just like, you know, so those are the things that I kind of learned along the way, you know?
So who taught you? Who taught you to, you know, be such a dope editor and a dope shooter? Like, how did you teach yourself along the way?
The University of YouTube, as we all say, you know?
So hold on, seriously, YouTube?
Yeah, I've never went to school for this. I do bear in mind that I have friends in the industry that if I need to tap in with them for something, they'll definitely direct me and say, oh, this is how you probably get it done. But other than that, it's always been YouTube and spending hours on Premiere Pro. And like I was using iMovies before, like, you know, when I first started editing, and then popped over to Premiere Pro, and now all my friends are like, no, you need to go to DaVinci. I'm like, all right, okay, fair enough. That's gonna take a little time, but yeah, legitly, it's just always been YouTube. Nothing more, nothing less.
So, what advice would you give to all the content creators out there? You know, creating content daily is very, very important. What advice would you give to the content creators that's like waiting on somebody that might be holding them up? You know, they might have great content they shooting, but they don't have, you know, they don't have the editing skills. What advice would you give them?
I would say, like, for instance, I just did a production in Trinidad and Tobago. So it's a third world country. And a lot of people who reached out to me after doing that production, their main issue has always been either they're saying money was the issue, so they never get proper funding for productions, or they've been trying to get out of that niche of Caribbean content. And I was telling them, I said, no, man, I said, you just got to find, like, when I started learning how to do editing, I was using my cell phone, legitly going downtown and shooting on my phone and putting content out that people thought I was doing on a camera. And I said, if you find a niche and you start putting content out constantly, whether it is that you can edit or not, because now, especially now, is even better. So I don't think anyone should have an excuse, because now you have stuff like CapCut that pretty much creates these effects for you. You take a small 15-second video with just holding your phone like that, and you put some cool content out, and people just start getting attention to your page immediately. So you have these small things that you can create off of your cell phone without having any sort of money. All you need is a platform, and your platform is these social media platforms that we have now, you know, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, that has blown up a lot of people. So I don't think anyone should have an excuse. If you don't know how to edit, just sit on the computer for like 2 weeks or a month or whatever the case may be and learn to edit, or just utilize these tutorials that TikTok shows you. Like, they have templates that you can literally just go, like, when I'm on the road and I'm shooting stuff for artists, I'll take my phone and I'll just save. I have in my notepad, or I just categorize it on Instagram. And then as soon as I see something that might fit that soundbite or might fit the theme of this trend, I just shoot it right then and there, and I just upload it. And it takes me literally nothing than 2 minutes to get that done. So I think people.
So from the time when you were coming up compared to now is like way easier. It's just super like an open field. It's like no excuse.
There should be none, because now you have so many different avenues to create content, especially like these sound bites now. You know, you have these sound bites, AI is coming up. I just looked at a tutorial on Instagram, and I saw I learned about AI cloning. And all that is like, let's say me and you're doing this interview now. I can actually record the interview, take your voice and put it in this little app and type whatever it is that I want you to say, and it will be exactly your voice. So now if I need to create like a
Wow.
documentary, so I took Morgan Freeman's voice off of this interview that he did, and I was creating this documentary. So I put his voice as the narrator for this documentary. He's never even done this, just to see how it looks and how it sounds. And I literally just took 1 minute of an interview that he was saying, whatever it is that he was saying. I put it on the software, and then it just exported me an MP4 for him, MP3, and I just overlaid it on my video. And I was like, wow, it's insane. So now you have technology that people who, whether you're trained for in the field of editing or videography or whatever the case may be, you just have too much information out there to not fail, you know? There's a difference between getting the clientele you may want to get in the niche you want, comparison to be able to do the job, you know?
So Premiere Pro or DaVinci, what's your favorite?
I've never touched DaVinci ever, but I've heard that
Wow.
yeah, I've
So
never
you
touched
just
DaVinci.
jumped right in the
Yeah,
field.
yeah, I never, and I really, everyone is telling me, yo, go to DaVinci. And I'm like, all right, cool, because I initially knew DaVinci as a color grading software, but they're like, nope, it's much more than that now. So I do need to tap into it, because even recently I just jumped into Mac, because I was on Windows all the time. So like 2 years now I've been into Mac. So like,
And
you know, I'm
how's
just
that
upgrading as
working
I
for
go
you,
along.
Mac?
But
How's Mac working for you?
oh, super better, super better. Like it's much faster, more reliable when it comes to exporting and the speed of rendering and reviewing footage. Yeah.
Nice. So who are some people that you see yourself working with in 2023? You know, everybody's saying it's the Jordan year. How do you feel about that, and who you see yourself working with?
You know, I really want to tap into the Middle East a lot. Like I really want to go over there, because there's so much they're revamping that place so much, and they're making it into something very Western, that a lot of big brands are going there, and they're open to content creators. They're open to new ideas and concepts that they never had before. So think about it as like a brand that has, or a project that has like everything that you need, and you're the first one getting in the door. You know, you're gonna get a lot further ahead prior to anyone else. Like when I was over there for the FIFA World Cup, I saw festivals, and like I went to a festival where Diplo and Marshmallow and so forth wasn't. It was a 3,000 capacity crowd. Like there was no one there. But give it like a couple of years, that's gonna be ram out. But these are massive names that's in the industry that's over there. They're getting their foot in. They're getting their foot wet. Like Live Nation is over there. All the big brands over there. But when you go to the events, it's not saturated as of yet, and they need everything. They need, whether it be hospitality, whether logistics, whether content creators, lawyers, whatever. They just need it because the population is growing so much. So I actually really want to start tapping into that a little bit more than. And I'm not talking about like the Dubai. I'm talking about like the Qatar and the Riyadh and the Turkey and so forth. You know.
Have you ever tapped in with any artists over there? Is it any artists over there that's like blowing up that's not on the radar?
Actually, I haven't. No, no. Like there's a guy called Gashi. He is from Brooklyn, I think, if I'm not mistaken. He was signed to Rock Nation, but he did a song with a guy named Khalid, who is a legendary artist over there. Think of him as our um like Wyclef in a sense. You know, that's their
Okay.
version of him over there, like legend. Like their music is insane, and they're fusing it a lot more now with the Western world. So we're gonna see a lot more of it, but there's no one that I really focus in on as yet. You know? Yeah.
What's one of your favorite cameras that you like to shoot with?
So for my run and gun is my Black Magic.
Oh,
So that's like
okay. Wow,
very
that's
easy.
hold on, listen, hold on. I was kind of lost because I was tapped in with the Sony AS7 III. Then I purchased the Black Magics, and I'm like, wow, I don't know. Then a lot of people start saying a lot of things like Black Magic is not it. So how do you feel about Sony versus Black Magic?
Good, because I started off on Sony, and
Mm,
Sony, the sensors on Sony is really good, especially for low lighting. But when it comes to like color grading and the flexibility of doing social media content on the road, but then if an artist is like, yo, let's shoot a music video, it's very versatile when it comes to Black Magic for that, for when it comes to grading and the various settings that it has. So that's the only reason why I kind of rely on Black Magic for that. Comparison to Sony when I'm actually shooting a music video. It's just the data and the meta that it pulls when it comes to all of the other aspects, especially when I'm getting into now like VFX and 3D animations, they require a lot more data than a Sony would traditionally pull out, or based on these various settings, you know. But Sony's are extremely good run and gun camera, but I think it needs to be accessorized a lot more than Blackmagic does, you know. So Blackmagic, I just need my lens, my kit, and I'm good to go. But other than that,
what do you think about
Sony?
that Sony FX9?
I've never used it. I've never used it. I've never used it. I think the last Sony that I've used has been the AS3.
Okay.
That's the last one that I tapped into. And other than that, that was great for me because when I was in nightclubs and you had it pitch dark in there, pitch dark, like it would pull the smallest light and get you something. So that was the reliability of like Blackmagic would not do that at all, you know?
So Blackmagic is what you shooting with nowadays?
For run and gun, but when I'm doing music videos, it'll definitely be like a Red on Arri. You know,
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been able to expand a little bit more on that. So when it comes to music videos, and it's just, and the body of a camera is one thing, but then the lens is a whole different story. Like, you know, like when you mix and match various lenses with different body types, you get a whole different feel of it, you know? So that's like something that I'm actually learning a little bit more about now, including lighting. It's something that I never really paid attention to much. And the more I'm like, yo, why did this clip look different than that clip? And it's like, it's just the type of camera lens that was used, same body, but just different camera lens because the glass makes a massive difference. So yeah.
The lighting definitely plays a difference.
Massive difference. Yeah. I used to sleep on lighting a lot. Like I did music videos and I never even had a gaffer on set, like a lighting tech. Like I was just like, yo, we're figured out. And now it's like, yo, that's like a massive deal for me. Like the majority of budget, not the majority, but a good deal of the budget will go to lighting because it's so important to have that, you know?
So in 2023, what do you plan on challenging yourself to, you know, like shoot short films? Like what is some things that you would like to do that you didn't accomplish in 2022?
I want to get a film on I really want to get one of my productions on a platform, like a streaming platform. And that's something that I've actually worked out during COVID. I've been pitching and shooting so many projects. And one actually got picked up and on Netflix, I believe 3, it would have been Disney Plus, Tidal, and Netflix made an offer to them. And this was during the peak of COVID, and we were excited about it, but they required 6 episodes prior to purchasing it. And we only had 2 down. And to actually get the filming done with the other artists during COVID was extremely difficult. So no one really wanted to film. They didn't want you in your house, obviously, because it was like a reality / documentary type content we were shooting. So it put it on hold. And when we try to get back engaging with the network, obviously they have slots that they need to fulfill when they roll out content. So it's like we're on a pause right now until that can happen. But I'm really not one to kind of wait until somebody's like, okay, cool, we're ready to do it. It's like, I'm going to try to figure something else out in the meantime. So that's pretty much where my goal is for 2023. Find a home for one of these shows that I've been pitching.
Well, you know the door is open at Lax. You know that. The doors is open.
Yes,
wide
and
open.
actually we spoke about it and you're like, I have something up and coming. And I'm like, what? And then you're like, it's a network. And I'm like, all right. And then so said, so done. You really did do it. I'm like, snap. All right.
You know what they say, right?
We should definitely speak about.
We only live one life, and I'm a firm believer that, you know, you are in control of like your success, your destiny, where you want to go. It's just like it's so many different avenues to make things happen. And you know, I feel like people make excuses. You know, when you make excuses, you know, you trick your mind when you tell yourself that you can't do something.
Yep.
You know, so I feel like with this TV network, I want to take it to another level, and I definitely want to work with you. I was telling you that. in the summertime.
Yeah. I remember you hit me up because you were launching a show that you were doing. And I think we started touring back then and we kind of tapped out of it. But then I saw everything when I came back. I started looking at your IG. I'm like, yo, it's not only a show that this guy did, he has his network and stuff. I was like, Jesus Christ. All right, cool. But now that I have things in order, I'll definitely like to re-engage that conversation for sure.
Man, we got to put, so do you still have those episodes that you actually shot during like COVID?
Yeah.
I want to check.
But I already have the 2. I don't have any more than the 2, which is what I really need to start with, which is I would love to kind of get that back up and going. But various options we have. But yeah, we'll chat about it for sure.
So what is your ultimate goal, you know, when it comes to filming and editing? Like what do you want to accomplish out of this?
So right now, what I really want to do, and it's something that I've realized is also becoming a passion of mine, which is I'm starting these master classes to kind of focus on the BIPOC and especially the Caribbean community with up and coming videographers, editors, and so forth. Because I've seen and I've noticed a lot, especially in our community, where there's a massive lack of knowledge and information that has been shared to them. You know, we all have this mentality, and we've all been going through this process of, if we're going to grind till we make it, and then we'll kind of figure out the process till we get there. But then there's a lot of other options that are available to us, but we just don't know where to seek this information. So I'm actually starting these master classes with these individuals over here in Canada, and it's accessible to everyone worldwide. You know, it's not restricted to an age limit, a specific demographic. My priorities will be the BIPOC community and the Caribbean community, but everyone is welcome. But it's like they don't know basic things, such as like they don't know how to register a business, or they don't know how to price themselves, or they don't know if they're hired, what costs should be incurred by the organizer in comparison to them. They don't know about per diem. They don't know about, like, you know, basic stuff as how to transit through an airport, like how to pack a suitcase properly. And it may sound like something quite simple, but it's really not. Like, you know, you go on a tour and you're like on a layover because you're transiting through a country, and you don't know how to transit through an airport properly, and you miss that flight. That means you don't make the show the next day. And if you're in a position where you might be a dancer or a content creator or film director, and you miss that show, like, it's, you know, I've seen those things happen constantly. And agencies now have started picking this up, where they're actually teaching their dancers and their staff when they're traveling what they need to do and how to transit. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool. So we actually never even had this access to this information. Like in Canada, we have so much grant access and funding for, you know, for writers and for artists that's developing, for managers who are touring with up and coming artists, for videographers who want to shoot music video for artists, that a lot of us don't know even how to write a grant, or what platform we should go to write a grant. Or if we don't know, is there support that we can actually email them to and actually get that information. So as I've done that process and learned about it, I want to shortcut a lot of people and give them that information. So they might want to reach out to me now because they're like, yo, we want to work with you, we want to get stuff done. But I think the most important part is, cool, we'll get to that point soon. But let's get you up and running where we know that you won't be taken advantage of, you have the information you need, and go from there, you know? So that's really what I want to, I think that's like a massive goal for me with my career.
So how will people be able to register? Like, how will, like, you get the word out there? So, you know, because I feel like that's some valuable information.
Yeah, so I'm actually going to start doing a massive PR campaign behind it.
Okay.
I've started it recently, and the first interview is up on my Instagram page, Kieran Khan Productions.com. And then you'll be able to go to my link in my bio, and you can actually sign up on the waiting list. So as we actually roll it out, you'll be alerted, and then you can sign up for these classes. And then I'm even going to be offering, the classes will be free, like in terms of the tutorials that you'll have. I'll throw them up on YouTube or give you a free access to a specific page. But if you need a one-on-one, like you want to chat with me to kind of get into a little bit more personal, customized depth as to what you're looking for and how I can seek information, provide information for you for that, then I'm actually going to probably offer like 4 calls per week, an hour each, and then we can kind of chop it up. We can kind of take it in there and then go from there. But that's like some of the initiatives that I'm really making now to pass on the knowledge and the experience that I've gained in the industry.
I feel like we need a commercial for that. I feel like we got to make it. You got to make a video and you got to send it over to me so I can put it on Lax, because that's some valuable 100%. Information. I can we could like chop it. We could chop it and put you on, like, you know, like when it's like a commercial or something like that. I feel like that's valuable information that people will want to sign up to.
Yeah. Actually, I would love that. Actually, matter of fact, we'll talk, because that's actually will be perfect, because your target market is pretty much what my target market is, you know? So that actually would be amazing if we could probably do that. But the more aid I can get with getting this information out, the better. So yeah, I appreciate that. So
advice for first-time videographers that, you know, first time shooting a music video or a reality show, what advice would you give them? Strong advice.
Strong advice would be, I would say, you know, make the mistakes you're going to make. You're going to be nervous. You're going to overthink if you're doing it right or not. The most important thing that you're doing is you're starting the process, you know. I have a goal every year, and I push myself to a point where I try to over exceed with my goals. But I always say, even if I meet 50% of that goal, I'm 100% closer to where I was if I did not even start. So anyone who is even taking the initiative, like such as yourself, like you're doing your reality show and you're starting this network, like the fact that you even did that, bro, like, you know, you're so much further ahead than a lot of people in your age bracket, in your background, in your demographic. Even for myself, looking at somebody like you is like extremely inspirational. I'm like, wait, I thought you needed like some massive network or to get you a network, or you know, and you're doing
Right.
it from self-funded from ground up. And I'm like, so things like that I would kind of give, I would say, you know, like really, really, bro, like don't give up and like don't take no for an answer. And what you want to do, ask the questions. I think a lot of people have ideas and they withhold it to themselves, and they fail to understand that if you share that information or if you just talk to your friends or peers about it, you would get so much further ahead than keeping it to yourself, because keeping it to yourself is not going to help you anywhere. You know, we're scared about people taking ideas from us, but they fail to realize that we are the only ones that can execute it the way we plan on executing it. You know, they might take it and run with it a whole different way, but we can execute it the way that we envision it. So truly try not to hold back. Take the risks you want to take. You know, you're gonna make mistakes, and when you look back at it a couple of years from now, you'll be like, shit, that was, but it got you to where you needed to be. You know, I really
Right.
don't. I'm not scared of, and I used to be very nervous about going on phone calls with big artists or their managers or with labels, and now I'll jump on a phone call with full confidence because they're seeking advice and information from us. Like they're trusting us with this information. You know, I tell my colleagues, I said, you're a videographer, but you're sitting down waiting for an artist to call you and say, hey, can you write a treatment for this music video? But you should be writing, as soon as an artist releases a track, you should be writing a treatment for that track and call them and say, yo, this is what I had envisioned for it. If you don't have an idea for it, this is what I thought about it. And they'd be like, fuck, you know, I wasn't even looking at doing a video for it, but maybe now. And 90% of the time that I do music videos, that's how I get the gig. Like I'll literally just follow it and be like, yo, I could write a treatment for that. I'll send it out. I'll probably send out 10 treatments a week or even probably even more. And that's just to kind of keep the work coming in, you know?
Man, listen, your videos are so amazing. It's just so cinematic. It's like a movie. You know, just like the story that you put behind it, will just make you want to jump through the screen. It's like, wow, this dude's amazing, man. Every time I look at your work, I get more by me owning the TV network. I'm like, man, I gotta learn some of that stuff, man, because it's just so dope. You just make the artist's vision come to life, man. You're amazing.
Appreciate that, King. Appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. It took a while to get here, but I'm still learning, you know? I did this commercial slash music video in Trinidad recently for an airline. And I was overthinking it so much, and I couldn't share the video with anyone, but I called my brethren. His name is Director X. He's a legendary video director in the business. And I said, yo, I'm overthinking this. I'm feeling very insecure about it. What do you think? And I sent it to him, and he's like, yo. And to get that sort of acknowledgement from those individuals who you really look up to in the industry, you know, gives you some sort of satisfaction, because we don't seek it, but when we hear it, it's a good feeling, you know? So I've come a long way, and there's no one who can say that they probably started in a worse scenario than me, you know? I've done every single thing. I've done chutney artists in Trinidad and Tobago. I've done like the basement jams. And this was like, you know, prior to COVID. And then it's just making sure when you get an opportunity, you take full advantage of it and you run like hell, you know? You stay loyal to those who've helped you, and you just keep, the only thing that you can do to repay them is, you know, becoming better and at what you're doing and progressing in the field that they gave you the option in, you know. And that's what I tell Sean all the time. I tell Sean Paul, I said, you gave me a chance, and the only thing that I feel like I can reward you with is making sure that you see my constant growth, and I'm not utilizing this opportunity you gave me for anything else but betterment of my life, you know.
What do you think is like the number one thing that stops, you know, entrepreneurs, artists, or, you know, just people with a vision or a dream? Like, what do you feel like is the number one thing that holds them back and stops them from, you know, accomplishing success?
I think fear and insecurity has a lot to do with that, you know. um, I On the same shoot that we went the other day, I had a drone pilot, and we didn't utilize him anymore because the shots that he got was not the best shots that we needed. And he got super emotional about it, and he's like, bro, he's like, you didn't give me credit for it. I'm like, but we never even used your stuff. And I said you need to work a lot more on your emotions and your attitude, because it's not going to get you further ahead in this industry. because one thing you need to realize is, yeah, we are highly sensitive people as creators. We're categorized and we're diagnosed with that, but it needs to be a balance of professionalism and taking professional critique and growing from there. And I said, yo, where do you think you're gonna go? I said, you're like, and me thinking in my head, he's not the best drone pilot, but he is somebody that I was willing to work with because he was putting so much work in when we did our first video shoot. So attitude has a massive thing to play with when it comes to building, and growing your business. Fear and insecurity, you need to throw those things out the window, because we've never learned enough, you know. When I go to shoots, I'll take advice from the smallest person in the room. They might have a very cool idea, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a cool idea. But a director sometimes won't, because they don't want to give credit to that person or make them or feel undermined by someone gave a really good idea and it wasn't their idea, you know? So I think a lot of those things have to do with people not growing at all. And attitude is like personality and ego is one of the most major things in this industry that I've noticed. The ones who have grown is the ones who are extremely humble and laid back. And the others, I can go to a concert and I can be backstage and I can tell who's the most successful artist, or even individuals in the room comparison to others, just based on their mannerisms, you know?
Right.
And you constantly, you've been around enough where you can probably see that, you know? And those are some of the things that I pride myself in maintaining. You know, welcome conversations when somebody approach you. Never belittle them. Never make them feel weird or insecure by coming up to you and saying hello, or you know, those sorts of things that I see happen all the time. So just to answer your question, if you what holds people back a lot, I would say those things, and mainly their personality.
So looking back from then until now, how did you learn to get your emotions under control? You know, because it's a tough industry. There's a lot of shady stuff that goes on. You know, sometimes you might not even get credit. You know, certain artists, they don't get credit. A lot of shady stuff backdooring. It's just, it's a game that you got to be ready. It's like Tetris, it's war. So
Yeah.
Looking back from then until now, how did you learn to, you know, keep your emotions, you know, under control?
Well, you just got to differentiate when somebody is giving you good advice and not, you know, like I think you can determine like if somebody's being shady towards you or just doing some foul shit. And that requires you to be that way with them. So that's
right.
But then there's individuals who would speak to you about something that you were not doing right. And some people would take that the whole wrong way. Like if an individual is like, yo, you showed up late for the video shoot, we had the artist waiting on set too long, you said you were going to do this and you did not do it for the music video or the editing, or the turnaround time was too long when it came to editing. Those are critiquings that you deserve, like in a positive way, that you should use to better yourself. Because what he's saying or what she's saying is nothing wrong. But you probably just don't want to hear that because your ego is in the way, you know? So even when it comes to like artists who like I had an artist the other day, and his cousin owns a festival, a Caribbean festival. And he complains constantly about, yo, they don't pay me for the festival. They don't pay me to be on the festival. They don't even give me a proper rider. And I was telling him, I said, you know, the only reason he's doing it is because he's your cousin. Because when you go on stage and when they advertise you, the worth or the time slot that you have does not convert over to money being ticketed. So they're doing you a massive favor, bro. I said, you need to take that into consideration. A lot of people are trying to get on that stage, and they're giving you that out of loyalty and because you're their family. But he feels, now he's done it so many years, he feels there should be much more. But I'm like, that just means that you need to do a better job as an artist, and you need to come up with some damn hits, because of right now you don't have anything that you can offer them to barter that, you know? So like those are prime example of an artist being too much in their feelings and not understanding what they're getting and what they're giving, you know?
Right.
So I like certain things like that. I would kind of say is like you know when somebody is being foul, and then if you need to step back, in all honesty, and just take some time, be like, you might not like what they're saying at the moment. Take some time, take a walk, go chill, and just revamp yourself, and then come back and be like, because sometimes when you sleep and you wake up, you really be like, oh fuck, you know, that person was shit, and then you probably squash your relationship just because of how you responded in the moment. Now you
Right.
can't go back there, you know.
So how important, you know, for all the up and coming artists, entrepreneurs, everybody, how important is relationships in this business?
Extremely. It's something that I protect more than having them as a paying client. you know. If I feel like our relationship on a production or on a project is starting to be starting to affect our friendship, I would rather not do that anymore with them, you know. And there's those individuals who it's the other way, you know. I don't want to have a relationship with them. I just want to keep it professional. But those individuals that you have an organic relationship with, especially those who are in a significant position that can aid you, and they see that we're friends, but he knows how to differentiate the both. Like at a click of a finger, like I could go out tonight with an artist that I work with, and we could turn up, and then tomorrow I'm on set 6 a.m. speaking to him, sir, Mister. What do you need? Like my staff would make sure and attend to them as they need to. What like you would not even think that we're cool like that. Like it's a totally different switch. And a lot of people don't understand how to differentiate that. And although we're friends, it's like they're still looking out for that. They still want that treatment. They still want to hire somebody that would that can accomplish the job and treat them in a professional manner. You know, sometimes we get around people and or we get around their friends and we started we start shying away from the professionalism that we have. You know, so like if the same reference, like if I was out the night before with all of them and I was on set with them, my relationship on set with them, even if they're friends or they are not, then we just turn up last night will be totally different. Let's get the job done and let's move on. Tomorrow we'll turn up after the set, but let's get this done now. And you know, whether it is that they have a tone when they're on set, because a lot of artists that you work with, they also switch too because there's a level of professionalism and execution that they expect that, you know, they want you to uphold. So
Right.
some people, they don't understand how to not draw that line, you know?
So what do you feel like stops a person from growing in this industry? What stops the growth?
Um, it's either you really want it or you don't want it, you know? I think it boils down to that. And a lot of people I know, they get super demotivated when things doesn't happen in the right time, you know? Manny Fresh was an individual that I was with in Toronto the other day, and there's an artist that he actually worked with um, right here in Toronto. They got a track recorded with Lil Wayne, and he's only been with this artist for about 2 years. And they recorded the track probably like a few months after they met him. And because it's 2 years now, the tone and the relationship between Manny Fresh and this artist has changed because the artist feels like they're holding up his track too long. Now, do bear in mind that they only met this artist in a club. The fact that you're getting production done by Manny Fresh, the fact that you have a feature with Lil Wayne that's in the archive somewhere, and you think 2 years is too short that they're holding, bro. I said, wow. So you know, those are things that just bother.
What
Like some
was
people,
what? Hold on, wait. What was your intake on that? How do you feel? Like even though you know it's Wayne, and then you got Manny Fresh, like you don't feel 2 years is too long to be holding? Like that's a
no,
little
it depends
minute
because
though.
do bear in mind, like it depends on various things, right? So, I mean, Lil Wayne was obviously going through his legal battles with the situation he was going through.
True.
We don't know if there's production or clearance issues, or they're trying to find a proper home for it, or they're trying to get proper. Well, I don't think the funding would be the issue, but there could be various reasons behind it. You know, I never asked the question, but I do know for sure. Like I've worked with like a lot of artists. Like we just did that Gwen Stefani, Shensi, and Sean Paul track in LA. We did that couple months ago, but that track was recorded 3 years ago.
Wow.
3 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago, and even Shansi was like, "I didn't even think you were gonna put this out again." And he's like, "When the timing is right, and so forth. When the timing is right, you know." So some people archive tracks for a very, very long time, and then when they be
But
like, "Sorry."
that goes to artists, up and coming artists, not understanding the business, and that plays a major part. Like I always say, make sure that it's in black and white. Contracts, they mean
Yep.
everything. And when it comes to like even getting your music played on air, ASCAP, BMI, Sound Exchange, you got some artists, they'll hit me up like, hey, put this music in rotation. It's just like, about ASCAP, BMI. It's just like you just want to be heard by a whole people don't even know who you are. Like at
Yeah. Yeah.
least if your music is gonna get played, at least get paid for your music to get played on air.
Yeah. 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 Correct. Correct. Agreed. Agreed. Yeah.
So it boils down to the business, and a lot of up and coming artists, they complain, but they don't take the time to read. Reading is fundamental.
Yeah. And that even taps in on to what I was saying earlier when I was like I'm doing these master classes, so at least they can understand the business behind it before they start getting involved with, oh, let's get on all these cool gigs, let's get on all these cool tours and so forth, because you could get you can easily get swallowed and get a bitter taste in your mouth about the industry if you're thrown in it too quickly and you just don't understand various things behind it, you know? One of my friends, he's been asking me, he's like, how come I don't use him as a DP on set as of yet? He's done work for me, but he's done a lot of run and gun stuff for me. And it's not to say that he's not an individual who's not capable of doing something, but he's just not ready for that position because there's so many things that comes with a experienced DP for a certain level of an artist, you know? And I don't want to put him in a position where he gets scorned and never wants to do this again. So what I do instead, I bring him on all the sets and I have him shadow a DP that's experienced. And I said, just learn until we're in a point where you feel comfortable, where you can actually do this on your own, because right now you can't. You don't know about lighting. You don't know about these different lenses and these systems. You don't know about structure and that proper treatment and so forth. And for him, before, a DP for him was just like a camera operator. I'm like, no, bro. I said, you crazy? I said, there's a lot more. So there's people that I want to put in a position because they've been with me from time, but I'm not going to throw them in because we're good or we're brethren. Like, you still got to know to get the job done, you know? So certain things like that is some people still got to learn for sure. But like that whole Lil Wayne scenario, like that artist, I'm like, all right, cool. Like it was so baffling. I was like, oh man. But these are some of the things that, you know, I feel like people have and they just take so much for granted. Because now what he has done is he's created this tone in the relationship between all of them. Is your track ever going to get released now?
Because of the complaining.
Because of the complaining. Because do they even care? Like if it was like a hot track, they would have been like, they'd probably put it out immediately. But maybe they're like, it probably is a hot track, but they're probably like, let's just wait for the right time. Yeah, correct. You know, something like that. But who knows? Yeah.
But see, you know what? I was just watching a few interviews, right? And people don't realize that if somebody takes the time to put you in a position to be seen and be heard, it's like you should never rush that process, because if they took the time, obviously they believe in you. They believe in you some sort. They believe in you to even like say, hey, let's work on something together. You know how many artists is trying to get in touch with Wayne, is trying to get in contact with Manny Fresh? Like, you know how many artists been trying for years and still hasn't been successful at getting in contact with these people? So it's just like people, they never look at it like this person took the time to invest in me. Just having a conversation is an investment. People look at it like an investment has to be money. It's time.
Yeah.
A person taking the time out to say, hey, let me listen to here. Let me see what you got. Let me see what you bring into the table. You know what? I like you. You might not have a budget, but I'm going to put it behind you. A lot of people don't think like that. Nowadays, people only see it as in, oh, I want it right now. And then when you get it right now, let's say, for example, you get it fast as you want it. It doesn't pop. Now you mad at them again. So it's just like people are ungrateful.
Yeah. I mean, that's like it's shitty because you burn bridges that you need, you know?
Right.
And you might have the talent, bro. Like you might, but I'd rather work with somebody who has personality and understanding with talent comparison to somebody who has talent and is the hardest person to work with, you know? They just don't understand there's a balance to it, you know? The fact that you have these individuals that even gave you a contact number, like I have people in my phone that we've just exchanged contact because I was just networking, but there's going to be a time where I'll be able to pull that number out and direct my information to them, straight to them, you know? I don't have to go and email them. I don't have to go and source a friend to go and link up the link, but it's just about, you know, proper timing and bringing something to the table, because you just don't want to be that individual that's always with your hand out, you know?
Right.
I think the one in the relationship who always has the upper hand is the person who cares less. And if you're not bringing anything to someone, why would they care about you, you know?
Right.
And you can't look at it. And some people is like, I know when a lot of people are developing, they're like, yo, you know, these people did not believe in me or they were not there for me in the beginning. But I think there's a different way to look at that too. Is like, if I went through the process and the grind and you went through the process and the grind, right? And you've made some sort of level of success. And it's not saying in any way, shape, or form that you're not going to try to help a person that's up and coming. But in the same notation, don't get mad at me if I'm not focused on you at this moment, because you also need to prove your worth.
Right.
That you're not just doing this for a moment or for clout or for whatever the case may be. Like if I start seeing you making serious strides, you know, I'm like, oh shit, okay, let me really just give this guy some attention. But a lot of people is like, you know, they'll get somewhere and then they try to shit on everybody else who did not aid them along the route. But it's not that they didn't aid them. They're also building just like you were building, you know? And you also need to prove to them that you're here for the long run and nothing more, nothing less, right? So a lot of people have the mentality that it's the I forgot the Drake song, but they have this mentality that just it closes a lot of doors for them too quickly.
How do you feel about the grind cheaters? People that's trying to cheat the grind. Do you feel like it's such thing?
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people have different understanding of what the grind is. You know, somebody working a 9 to 5 would believe that going to work 9 to 5 is the grind. And in all honesty, that could be. You know, it could have a single mother who have no other time. You know, because her 9 to 5 and then her free time is her kids, and that's her grind in general. You know, and then some people believe that, you know, they just need to accept as much bookings as they can, and that's the grind. But I think for me, how I categorize or define the grind is heading towards the direction of a goal, you know? So I can grind all day this year, but come January, I'm in my account is the same thing, probably still negative. I have no assets to account for. There's no growth with portfolio, with clients, but I've been working all year, you know? So I think you just need to set goals, like realistic goals, or not even realistic goals. Like, let me take that back, because I like, if I want to get 20 clients this year, if I get half of that 10, I'm happy, you know? So I think you need to set goals and just start targeting that, but really write them down and just set, because I have a thing right here. It's pretty much my chart. It's ideas. Like, I don't know if you can see, but it's like my idea charts, and I literally jot down ideas and shit. And every day, if I have time to kind of re-engage one, like, so one is my master classes, next one is my merch, next one is engaging a studio to actually build me a studio. So like, these are like goals and ideas that I'm putting down there, that whenever I get a chance, I'm like, let's see if we can start ticking this off, and I'll start engaging conversations and so forth. But you need to have some sort of direction. You can't just be grinding with literally
no direction,
with zero direction. It defeats the purpose of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in life.
So how do you feel about, do you feel like it makes a difference if a person, they keep notes in their phone, or they actually like write it down on a notepad? For some reason, I just like to write my ideas down, and I feel like they work better versus me putting them in my phone. For some reason, it just doesn't work for me when I put it in my phone.
Yeah, I think both. I think writing it down is much better. But I think if you, like, I send myself a lot of voice notes. So like, I'll just, voice note myself. So, and I'll always go back to it, because it just helps me remember specific details of certain things, comparison to if I had to write it down quickly. But it's, when we were younger, we never did these things,
right?
But I think as I got older, I started realizing how important these things are to do, like a to-do list, a checklist, a goal, like these, like, even how you spend your money. You start realizing, because now we just do things and we don't even realize how much we've accomplished. Like, if I look back at my life from 2017, if I wasn't keeping track, I use Instagram as a perfect platform for memories and just timestamps as to what I've done in my career. So at the end of the year, when I need to do my recap, I would go through Instagram and like, okay, what did I do from January to December? And I put together my reel based on all these occasions that happened throughout Instagram. But it's extremely important to write down and set your goals and expectations. You would see how life becomes so much more organized when you do that.
So far, how's 2023 been treating you?
Amazing, like legitly amazing. It started off where we did the World Cup, and then after, I just got some massive productions. I think I did about 3 or 4 music videos already, and then I got that gig with the Caribbean Airlines, and they want to do much more stuff. So the fact that we're in February, mid-February, and I've done so much already, like, it's already amazing, And funny enough, that's because I've jotted down how much I want to make per month and how much projects I want to take on, and I've been meeting those goals. And I was like, if I can meet half of that, I'm happy. But I've been making all of it, and I'm like, shit. All right, cool.
That's
so
dope.
when you put that out there for real, it comes.
Man, listen, I gotta bring you on board with Lax. We gotta talk offline.
Yeah.
I got some crazy ideas, man.
I would love that, man. I'm definitely about the master classes, and as soon as I can kind of get this production off with the additional episodes, but for sure, like I love the fact that you mentioned that the master classes about it. Yeah, I'm down for
Man, listen, put it together. You know, we locked in for life, man. We brothers from another
that.
mother. And you got to bring me on set with you one of these days. I got to see what you're doing over there, man. I'm inspired by your work.
Well, I've always told you, I think we miss each other because when I'm in New York, you're in Miami. When I'm in Miami, you're in Atlanta. When I'm in Atlanta, you're back in New York, and I'm like, yo,
Right.
when are we ever gonna link? But I do have a few productions coming up in Miami, so I would love if you came out for sure because we just need to sit down, chop it up properly, and kind of go from there. But yeah,
Man, listen, we going to put it together. I always appreciate, tapping in with you. I'm glad I had you on the platform tonight. And put something positive in the universe for the people, that they might be going through something, they feel like their dreams never going to come true. Put something positive in the universe before we end this interview.
let's see. I mean, we're coming out of it, and I think a lot of people. It's like, when somebody had cancer, they're now living life. And I think a lot of people now is enjoying life a lot more. So even like when you go downtown here, you see the nightclubs are not that popping anymore because a lot of people is just doing, a lot more things for themselves. So whether they be traveling or so forth. So I would tell people, use the lessons as COVID to start being selfish with your time and with your energy, do a lot more for yourself. A lot of people, you're always going to want to help somebody. You're always going to want to be focused on something else. You're always going to want to pay another bill. But as you can see, time is of the essence. We really don't know when tomorrow is going to end. So take advantage of yourself. Be selfish with your emotions, with your feelings, and just kind of live life the best way you can, That's the most positive I can probably give advice now, but it's a true thing.
Well, listen, the universe received it. I appreciate you, man, and I'm going to tap in with you offline. Listen. We got a lot. 2023 is really the Jordan year. I'm gonna get you a ring, all right?
I'm down for that,
man.
And I need some of that merch, yo.
I got you, man.
I need some of that merch.
I got
some of that merch. You got the whole sweatsuit and everything, right?
Talk money, nothing else, man. Wasted time can never be a place. You know
yes,
that.
Yes.
When they see me, they know it's talk money, nothing else. They know that.
Yeah, don't even approach me with nothing else.
Listen, you know what time it is. But man, listen, I appreciate having you, and I'm gonna tap in with you offline, bro.
Thank you once again, and congratulations on the network, huh?
Man, I appreciate that. Thank you,
bro. You're welcome.
Easy.
Thanks for having me.
Man, shout out to everybody that's tapped in, that's been rocking with me since day one on 97.5 Hip Hop Daily. I am here to let you know that you got to believe in yourself. You're going to have the ups, you're going to have the downs. You're going to have the people that's going to be on board with you in the beginning, and you're going to have those same people, they're going to try to stab you in the back. The road to success is just literally, it just sounds so easy. The road to success sounds, it sounds like I can just accomplish it, but you got to know what comes along with it. You got to see it. You got to know that after each tunnel that's dark is going to be a light. It's going to be a light at the end of that dark tunnel. And you got to know that, you can't, entrepreneurs, artists, videographers, everybody, you got to know that you got to start from somewhere. Don't be afraid to fail. I remember when I was, I said I was going to start a TV network. I just got off of the Zeus network. I was on Bad Boys LA, for some of you that don't know. And, I was just like, what's next? Like, what do I want to do? I'm an artist, very talented. I love radio. I love podcasts, and I love everything. So I'm just like, what's next for me? What do I want to do? And, I said, I want to start a network. I want to be a different network. I want to bring on a lot of content creators. I want to open up a lot of doors for a lot of people, but I want to be different. I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing, but you gotta start from somewhere. You can't be afraid. A lot of people, I feel like, what stops their growth is being afraid, fear. How can you be afraid of something that you never took the risk? You never even looked on the other side. You just heard about other things. You heard that it was giants on the other side and they'll crush you if you even come near them. Like, you can't go off of what you hear. You just got to take the risk in this one life that we live, and I feel like a lot of people, they just get comfortable. Like, we're not here forever. You can be driving the luxury cars. You could be living on a mountain. You can do all of these things. It's not going to, it might come overnight for some people. Your grind might take it might happen for you like 5-10 years later, but you just got to know you can't never give up. I've been grinding since I was a kid, to get in the position that I'm in. I believed in myself. You know, the journey is I'm still on this journey. You know, is I fell off, got back up. You know, it's just part of the grind. It's part of the hustle. It's part of the journey. You know, and it's a lot of people that on this journey they fell off and you know they gave up and they see me. I inspire so many people. You know, being on TV and just you know doing all the amazing things that I do. So many people are inspired, and you know on this journey I've had people that tried to trick me and make me give up on my dreams, and I'm here to let you know that you can't let nobody trick you out your vision. You got to see it. You got to know that hate is going to come along with that, rumors is going to come along with that. You just got to stay focused and you got to see the bigger picture. I promise, if you're a rapper, I feel like you're supposed to be in that studio every night. Even if you get that big hit that you get, it doesn't stop there. You got to keep making hits. You know, the industry is a business. And, you know, a lot of people, they feel like, hey, I got that hit. I'm that dude right now, or I'm that girl right now, you know, and I'm popping. That's just for the moment, you know, that's just really for the moment. You got to keep locking in. You got to keep making hits after hits. I feel like if you did it once, you could do it 10 or 20 more times. You can do it. You can have those plaques on the wall. You ain't got to hate on nobody. You just got to see the vision and you got to really lock in. And a lot of people, they don't lock in. You know what it is they watch what everybody else is doing. How can you be successful if you're watching what everybody else is doing? You can't. You have to focus on what's going on. Like, what am I going to do to stand out? What am I going to do to be different? What am I going to do to stay #1 on the charts? What am I going to do? Like, it's business. It's no rules to it. It's even if you come up with the best gimmick, come up with the best gimmick to have everybody in the world talking about you. You know, that's going to sell records. You know, it's a business. A lot of people won't be successful is because you know they listen to what other people say, they focus on what everybody else is doing, and they don't realize that it's a business. It's no different from you know the paint shop, you know, the car dealership industry. That's what it is. It's business. So my advice to anybody who's on a grind, on a come up, if you feel like you're not being heard, think of something. Like, take the time to just sit back and say, I gotta lock in. You know, all the partying and turn up, like just dim the lights for the night. Just dim the lights, get your notepad out and just lock in and say, what am I going to do to stand out? What am I going to do to, you know, make people tap into my music or, you know, tap into my podcast? What am I going to do? You got to have a vision. You got to see it. You got to want it. You know, I got on TV from 97.5 Hip Hop Daily. You know, I'm talking about when it was literally COVID every day. Like, I'm locked in the studio. Like, you know, people, they like, hey, man, we going out, we doing this. And I'm locked in. I'm focused. And you got to really lock in. Sometimes you got to cut people off. You got to stop answering your phone. You got to really be locked in. And you can't focus on what nobody else is doing. Like, I had somebody, you know, people might call me crazy for this, but, you know, I always say this, like, you know, Jay-Z, he's somebody that's like, I'm inspired by Jay, you know, and a lot of the greats. But what worked for them is not going to work for me. You know, they came up in a different time. You can follow somebody's blueprint, but their blueprint, it can give you a lot of gems. It can give you a lot of knowledge, but you still got to figure it out on your own. And I feel like people respect you more when you figure it out. They respect you more when you figure it out and you don't have your hand out. You know, nobody wants to deal with a liability. You got to ask yourself, what can I do if you feel like you are a liability or people tell you you're a liability? What can I do to make myself an asset? You know, create merch, you know, you know, that's like me. Every time you see me out, people know who I am. Like, they like, oh, that's Moolah, talk money, nothing else. You got to have some type of stamp that people will remember you by. They know you by. It's just like your signature. And a lot of people, they don't have the merch. I feel like if you're an artist, me, I'm old school. You know, I feel like you got to get in people's face. People feel like social media is everything. And I mean, it can be and it's not. But you just got to have a different approach when it comes to like promotion. But that's my time for the night. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody. More life, more blessings. Make sure you subscribe to the Lax Network. And I'm out.